You know what tail hook means, don't you?
No, what is tail hook? Uh-oh. I got a feeling.
Yeah.
Is it a homosexual reference?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Sure.
Did you know that, Steve? Isn't it something?
I know one of the people who was deeply involved with tail hook, who was the captain of the Saratoga, was very much involved with this kind of behavior. See, I never thought about group sex. This is so awful for me to contemplate that these orgies are going on all over the Mediterranean, that the captains, lieutenants, the men who rise to the top are the ones who are picked to play the games, the pool parties, the nude pool parties. But what they do is, and this is General Al Gray, who was the main prime mover, they would go to a place like Aix-les-Rosés.
But these sex parties and orgies, they're all homosexual in nature, or is there some heterosexual?
They start off with the wild secretaries. It's kind of, you know, my husband did those in Indonesia. He did them at a place in Northern Virginia with his first wife. He was a sexual addict, an alcoholic addict. He loves, you know, terror, and his whole little soul was just being sucked away from him. And then why is it that the ones who are this way rise up faster than the ones who don't?
Because there's someone there noticing.
Yeah, sure.
Those who are
vulnerable.
Vulnerable. I was going to say rising, but that wouldn't be quite appropriate.
They're called rising stars.
Rising stars.
Rising. That's the word the State Department uses for those who are controlled. And when I was volunteering with the State Department as an escort in Virginia, I had this group called, I thought it up myself, VIVA, Virginia International Visitors Association. And I tried so hard to get to be a part of the State Department family. But you know, I'm a Christian, see. I'm a Protestant Christian, and they don't want Christians in there. My goodness. That's why they don't have any women in special operations. Because that's why they don't have any African Americans. They're too honest. They're too strongly Christian. Now, the only guy I know who is involved is a homosexual. And his buddy is an Israeli agent. And they are lovers. They're a pair. But
well, now,
he's now a colonel, and he is under the guidance of Ken Millis.
Well, as these generals, over the period of years, this is consolidated to where they're all part of this club. I mean, this is something that's been going on for years and years and years.
Members of the firm.
Okay, so as the firm grows, even as the old guys, the gray heads get old, die off, retire, whatever, they've already set in motion a system that culls out these young, budding, rising stars, and they move their way up. Well, then, in time, it consolidates to where no one is in this unless they're in the club.
Absolutely.
So is your conclusion, based on what you know from your husband's revelations, reading his diaries, this sort of thing, is there anybody in the U.S. military, the Army and Marines, anybody in the level of, you know, your generals and your colonels, is there anybody who would not be in this club?
In special operations, I would say, and I would put money in the bank on this, not one of them is not a party to this. It's not a... Once they get that bird, Colonel, that bird, they go through an initiation ceremony. This is not a... And my husband told me about that, too.
What's the initiation ceremony like?
They get them drunk. Dining in, shell back. He told me...
Oh, dining in. This is a term that they use.
Oh, yeah.
A code word.
Oh, yeah.
Shell back?
Shell back. They...
What's that mean?
Anal sex. But they get them really drunk. The guys who are that way do it. It's a group situation thing. And I was told by two colonels who said, you know, it's normal, Kay. This is just what we do in battle, you know.
This is just good old boys?
This is just what we do, Kay.
They get drunk and they
get drunk and they ejaculate. They beat each other off. You know, it's awful. This is a well-oiled system. And when you've got the commandant well known as a cherry Marine,
which means?
Bottom. They're the bottom. The Navy guys are on the top. Think about this, because Walter Chrysler and Norfolk, each port has a hierarchy. Wealthy at the top. Walter Chrysler and Phil Hornthal. Everybody in Norfolk knows that. Where'd they meet? In the Navy. Rock Hudson. Where did he meet his guy? Navy. Jim Neighbors. Navy. All of these guys, Navy. So they're tapped for whatever it is, acting, singing, you know. The point is, Liberace, you know.
Was he Navy?
I believe he was. I know that he was, someone told me that he was a friend of one of the guys in Norfolk. There was a ring, a VMI ring of men in Norfolk, and I knew they met once a month, and some of them were married, some of them weren't.
So when people suggest that the United States of America is becoming a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah,
absolutely,
really is not just a broad generalization.
No.
That this club, as it's grown over the years, and then placing and promoting the key people in every strata of life.
Right. Banking.
Then the whole thing, not only the military is run by degenerates and top heavyweight degenerates, people who are moral can't possibly move their way up because they don't qualify.
They kill them, they get rid of them.
But they can't be controlled.
No, George calls them the members of the firm. He calls them the members of the firm. I've heard the brotherhood. They're very close. And it's a small group, and it's very hierarchical. There was a group of sexual psychiatrists from Vienna who came over. I have pictures of them. I was their escort. George was already gone, and I was intrigued that they were still sending me people.
Okay, now you referred to them as sexual psychologists?
Yeah, there's a whole range of psychiatrists who study perversion, sexual perversion. And it's a pattern, and so this is why it's so important to know what they are doing to innocent little boys in the Army and the Marine Corps today. Why? Why are they having them go together in groups and strip nude when they're brand new inductees? Why do they do certain things in public, in front of the group? And
well, they even do that during the pre-induction physical?
Yes.
I mean,
and they also have the doctor.
That's why I didn't want to go in the Army. I knew there was something.
Yeah. But they also turn around the other way after doing that. The other way, and they're upside down. And they do this anally. Now, why do they do that in public? Why are the urinals all out in public, you know, without separate stalls? If they're not promoting this. And then why is it that the ones who are this way rise up faster than the ones who don't?
Because there's someone there noticing.
Yeah, sure.
Those who are
vulnerable.
Vulnerable. I was going to say rising, but that wouldn't be quite appropriate.
They're called rising stars.
Rising stars.
Rising. That's the word the State Department uses for those who are controlled. And when I was volunteering with the State Department as an escort in Virginia, I had this group called, I thought it up myself, VIVA, Virginia International Visitors Association. And I tried so hard to get to be a part of the State Department family. But you know, I'm a Christian, see, I'm a Protestant Christian, and they don't want Christians in there. My goodness. You know, I would have guests, and I would let them know I was a Christian and that I love them, and Virginia's a wonderful place. And,
Yeah.
But I couldn't be a part of that.
No.
They sent me people, but.
Now, so George Bush, I mean, all these people rise up through the ranks, the same club.
Right.
No wonder, you know, I saw a little TV clip one time where a reporter was asking George Bush and others about the Order of the Skull and Bones.
Both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are.
All these guys were shocked that somebody even mentioned the term, and that was the end of the subject. Now, that's because, I mean, if this really got out, that these guys are all inducted because they've got some kind of homosexual
Right.
thing on them.
Indoctrination. I mean, or induction.
Miss Buttercup, Skull and Bones. Accept or reject? Accept. Not a word to anyone. How does it feel being a woman? Why do you want to know?
To do that.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
In
Even
a
if,
coffin. And it's even now coming into the military totally. The chiefs do that, put them in the coffin. They do the bowling ball trick.
okay, you're going to explain this. What happens when you get in the coffin? Why do you get in a coffin?
Oh, they get, when you get your eagles, that's a German thing.
Okay.
You know, it's what the German high command did, and most of them, you know, had the boyfriends and stuff, the Krupps and all of that. It is a German thing that they say goes back to Greece, and it's all the male Marine-looking men that they do it with. See? So now the chiefs have to do that. What they do is they get, George said it's like a zoo. They get everybody really drunk, and they sometimes call it dining in. Shellback is another time that they do it. Not everybody does it, but the ones who do it, if they're young, they get right up to the top. It's a
Okay, well, what actually do they do? They've got a coffin, they get
anal
inside this...
sex. Oh, that they do. They put them in the coffin and they do things.
Okay, they perform things
Yeah,
on each other.
yeah. While they're all around there going drunk and
I see. So there's a guy in the coffin
yeah, and he's the one who
is the recipient of all the acts.
right, right. Yeah.
Probably safe to conclude these are oral sex acts on this guy or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, oral and anal, whatever.
We need the young women just beginning their careers in the military service to see it and know that no door will be closed to them. We need women and men throughout the ranks to see and celebrate women's accomplishments and leadership in the services. We need little girls and boys, both, who have grown up dreaming of serving for their country to know this is what generals in the United States Armed Forces look like.